Time for the 49ers Rush
Trust me,
podcast.
we'll be fine.
Okay, I like that. All right, this is an awesome question here from Freddie, and I'm going to simplify it just a little bit. He says, what rookie offensive line has the best chance to contribute as a starter? There's a lot of undrafted guys. Just in your opinion, Alex, Nick Nikhil or Spencer Burford, which one gets to start first if you had to just make a guess off of your top of your head?
Burford. Of the two of them, Burford. I think they think Zakelj has the biggest upside. I know they've been high on him. They were high on him last year. We were going to draft him last year in a similar kind of spot, maybe even a little bit earlier, and he didn't come out. So you can't pull the trigger on a guy who's not available and not in the draft pool to choose from. So I think they love Nick Zakelj. I think they think Nick Zakelj needs a little bit of time. I think ideally they want him to go in at the center spot. And I think ideally they wanted a year under Mac. And then, okay, we can start playing around with this. If he needs another year, we got Brendel, who's kind of just sitting around here. You know, he's not going to command a whole heck of a lot of money. We can bring him back and keep rolling that direction until Zakelj is ready to be the guy. Burford feels like the guy that they're higher on. They
drafted him higher. So, that tells that story right there.
And they took Banks in the second round last year, sat him a year, right? And then now he's their guy. He's the replacement for Lincoln Tomlinson, and they're absolutely – per coaching staff, they're 100% comfortable with this because they weren't going to even come close to paying Tomlinson anywhere near that money. So they wanted to make this move. They were fine with making this move if that happened with Tomlinson. You'd have to think they're kind of doing the same sort of thing here with Burford. You would think if they were really in love with Jalen Moore and his development and where he is, there's no reason to take Burford at that spot.
Man, that's okay. Okay, hold on. I want to awesome answers, first off. Very, very well said. Jalen Moore is a freaking joker card in a damn card game because they've got him taking number 2 reps at right guard, number 1 reps at right tackle. Like, what the hell, man?
That's what the Niners love. They love themselves some utility linemen, John. Come on now. They don't want a guy who does one thing. He has to do it all.
Okay, but here's my issue. Yeah, you're right. And it's the whole freaking Colton McKivitz 2.0 guy. My thing is, I can talk myself into them believing Jalen Moore is a starter right now. And I can also talk myself into believing Jalen Moore might not make this roster.
Yes.
And
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, John. It makes no sense. I don't know. This is the funny thing. I was looking at other rosters throughout the league. I just because I'm looking at the Niners rosters and thinking to myself, it really does feel like potentially guys they drafted this year or even last year could end up not being on this roster. And I mean, if that happens, though, it's like another team is going to scoop these guys up, right? You're not going to get these guys to your practice squad until you start looking at some of these other rosters that are loaded with talent and realizing a lot of them did very similar things to San Francisco. They brought in a bunch of undrafted free agents that people thought were going to go either late or a little bit earlier in this last draft. They're loaded at certain positions. Certain guys are going to fall by the wayside, and it looks like talented players are going to get cut one way or the other, whether they were just drafted a few years ago, or they brought in free agency. And I'm sitting there going, this seems to be just there's an influx of talent right now because of COVID. The COVID pandemic pushed and delayed guys from coming into the draft and coming into the league. And now you have guys, loaded, talented rosters all across the league with young players and older players who still have a lot in the tank. And teams are going to have to basically make tough decisions. Do we go a little bit more veteran? Do we go young, talented, and make some sacrifices at certain positions? The Niners have typically done this at corner, right? We've seen the Niners at corner go in with unproven, untested guys at the cornerback position and found a way to make the formula work. They don't do that on the D-line. They have done it at the cornerback position. This year, not so much. This year, it looks like they're doing it at the safety spot. But maybe this is the year where the young guys are going to win out, and the Niners stick with young, talented guys on the O-line. And we see the departures of guys like Justin Skule, Colton McKivitz not making this roster to make wave and open the door for these younger guys.
First team left tackle reps.
I know. And he could not make it.
All right, time out. Let's do this
right now. It's your boy Frank Gore. I'm listening to 49er Rush Niners all day. Let's bring 6 home.